I hate to admit it, I don't even have health insurance. I'm 48 years old. I don't have health insurance. I mean, I don't like recommend to go that route, but we do set aside money for in case like emergencies and that kind of thing. But health insurance should be used for crisis care, emergency, like if you were to go on a run and, you know, God forbid, like fall and break something, and you're like, you know, need help that you obviously don't want to gimp around and let that go untreated. That's why, you know, that's what insurance is for. It's for emergency care. However, we live in a system. We live in a society that has a system that health insurance, its goal is to manage sick people and keep them in that system. So when you go to the doctor and you're diagnosed with diabetes, now you're put on these medications. If you have high blood pressure, now you're put on these medications. If you have high cholesterol, you know, whatever, now you're put on these medications, and all these people are kept on these medications forever. So it makes a lot of money.
Yeah, and I know, you know, we're not making these claims like in, I'm agreeing with you, so I say we. So like, we're not making these claims like in like totality. Like there's plenty of good healthcare practitioners and stuff. But what I found was like interesting, and like this is just a really good example. My dad's blood sugar is like he is now diabetic. He doesn't need to take insulin because he's like just there, but he was pre-diabetic for a while. He is now diabetic. And my thought was like I am 100% certain that if he had healthier foods and exercise, it would go away, right? He had diabetes about 10 years ago, and it happened. So like my thought is like, oh, so healthcare should cover a personal trainer 4 times a month, right? Nothing crazy, once a week, right? Like, and a gym membership.
Absolutely.
And the fact that it doesn't, and I know, right? So he has pre-existing conditions. He pays $1,200 a month for health insurance.
Oh my gosh!
Do you know how many training sessions he could get from me for $1,200 a month, or like whoever, like? Dude, but it's crazy to think about that. It's like if they really wanted you to get out, like it would cover that. Like
100%.
Healthy foods, like.
Well, back to that, you know, Big Pharma. I mean, it's Big Pharma kind of like funds medical schools and the education. A lot of doctors, when they go to medical school, they're taught, hey, once a guy or gal becomes diabetic, they're diabetic forever, for life, right?
Yeah.
And diabetes happens to be a condition that is more significantly related to lifestyle, to diet, to lack of exercise, and you know, it's kind of an earned condition, really.
Yeah.
But the answer is that the tool that's in the toolbox is here's your medication, right? And that's the answer. And like you said, it's like, well, it doesn't make it, for whatever reason, it doesn't make sense to sit down with your dad and say, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna like teach you kind of like you know how to like kind of restructure your diet a little bit. You know, we're gonna work in some exercise, make sure you're getting 10,000 steps a day, that kind of thing. That would reverse his condition.
It did, but he literally got it, and he just did 2 things. He cut down carbs, and he walked 30 minutes a day, and it was gone in 6 months.
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
And it stayed gone for quite a while.
It's doable. The beautiful thing about the human body is we can't outsmart the human body. It's all adaptive. Insulin resistance is an adaptive response to consuming all these carbs that are everywhere. You know what I mean?
Now we're getting into
when you think about it, like when you go to grocery stores, all those aisles are filled with things that we talked about earlier. It's like they're not like your 3 rules.
Yeah.
None of that stuff grew out of the ground.
Yeah.
It's all in packages and boxes with barcodes with ingredients you can't pronounce. What is that doing to your body? Your body like is so smart. It's like no. So it develops a resistance, an insulin resistance that is so smart. And you know, but the more you do it, the more you I guess poison yourself over time with all this excess carbs and sugar. It can only deposit so much fat so many places, and blood sugar goes up. Then you know you start to develop other chronic conditions. All that can be reversed.
Yeah, it's cool that it can be reversed.
Yeah.